Hello friends. Welcome back again on the I Have a Vision Academy YouTube channel. In short, I Academy. So now we are starting a new chapter. In today's class, we will be discussing the history of our Indian economy. So starting from the British era. So as we all know, somewhat on the line of 200 years, the British has ruled us. So what are the economic development as well as changes that has been occurred in this 200 plus years of, क्या बोल सकते हैं, subservient, हम जो एक तरह से नौकरी थे उनके. So in 200 plus years of colonialism, what are the economic changes that have occurred, and comparing that to the present changes, it means India before independence versus India after independence. So in today's class we will be covering the first part of our lecture. So as we all know, British arrived on the coast of India around 1600, and the main focus point or the qualitative change happened on the soils of India is 1757, that is Battle of Plassey. Now before this Battle of Plassey, what used to happen, these East India Company personals will take their product from the British markets and come on the shores of India. At the shores of India, they will pay some custom duty like silver. So they will take silver and marketable goods from here in the British province, and they will sail from the high oceans to the beaches of India. Now they will pay the custom duty, it means giving silver to the then kings, and then they are free to trade in this market. When going back to British, they will collect some manufactured and finished goods, जैसे the hand woven cloth of cotton cloth in India, and much more clothes and products. So they will take these manufactured finished good from India and then sail back to Britain, and thereby they will sell these Indian goods at a huge profit. So this was kind of anatomy of the EIC, East India Company, and we also know that EIC is monopolizing at that period of time the Indian economy. अभी हम धीरे धीरे आएंगे. So before Plassey, these custom duties were to be paid कैसे? By importing some silver to from Britain to India. Now after the Battle of Plassey and the Battle of Buxar, for your precision, the Diwani rights of Bengal, Bihar and Odisha has been transferred to British Empire. In short, EIC, East India Company, which will later be nationalized. So now the revenue collected in the Bengal province is itself sufficient to pay these custom duties. So this additional cost of silver has been negated by these Diwani rights. So this was the first thing. Now what happened? Industrialization happened in Britain. So a new political clout known as middle class, या उस टाइम अगर सोशोलॉजी के टर्म में बोले तो बुर्जुआ भी बोल सकते हैं, बट आप ये समझ लीजिए इमर्जिंग कैपिटलिस्ट क्लास, which will gain profits from selling of the manufactured items. And on the other side we have East India Company that is doing business in India. As I have told you, this EIC will take manufactured products, the high quality manufactured products of India, to the shores of Britain and thereby selling these products there. So there is no comparison of these high valued products when compared to these emerging capitalist class products. So now this antagonism developed in between these two classes. Now, as the running wheel or economic wheel of Britain was this. Why? Because after industrialization, the industrial revolution, such big machineries have been established which have the capability to produce various variety of products at a single period of time, unlike the Indian hand woven goods. So now, as these emerging capitalist class is enjoying the motivation of capital clout, the motivation of the political clout. So this EIC in 1813, the government of Britain at that period of time ended, we have learned in history, ended the monopoly of EIC. क्या पूरी तरीके से ख़त्म कर दी थी? नो, एक्सेप्ट ट्रेड इन टी विद चाइना. सो in general it ended the monopoly of EIC. Now more and more British manufacturers can enter the economy of India. So after 1813, the economic conditions of India will purely be dictated by the British wants and policy. Now this monopoly has been ended and we have to give our support. Britishers के point of view से देखिए, we have to give support to this emerging capitalist class. Now Britain has opted free trade policies with India, but this free trade policy is highly biased towards Britishers. So it is a one-sided free trade policy. What happens in this? These emerging capitalist class are manufacturing the products. These manufactured products are sold on the coast of India. Now no custom duty, which are earlier paid by the East India Company. Now no custom duty has been attached to these products or manufactured products. But on the contrary, when the Indian goods are sold to the coast of Britain, heavy custom duties were applied. You see, this cancellation of custom duty is not that much effective on the exported products of India. Why? Because Indian products are of high quality. But this second thing the Britishers has done, that importing very large amount of custom duties on the manufactured products of India, this has actually given promotion to the cancellation of Indian exports. So this has demotivated the Indian exports. So this is the whole of, what should I say, the antagonism, the result of the antagonism between the emergent capitalist class and the East India Company. And now from here onwards, the Indian economy has become the cash cow of British Empire. On one side, the manufactured goods, the factory manufactured goods are entering in the soils of India and no custom duty has been applied over there. But while exporting the manufactured products from India, there is a heavy imposition of custom duty on the soils of Britain. So it highly demotivated the Indian exports, as well as from now onwards the India will export only raw products to British. So now this emergent capitalist class wants raw products. because the large industries has been established, but some kind of raw material has to be provided to function or make products in this industry. Now as there is lack of raw products in Britain, so first of all we have to curb the Indian exports done by these two things, one-sided free trade. Now second of all we want raw material from India, and India is having a plenty of raw material. So now we force India to export these raw materials. What kind of raw materials are these? These include jute, then cotton, wheat, oil seeds. So such kind of raw material will be exported to Britain, and manufactured goods will be imported in India. So such kind of economic drain has been done by the Britishers on soils of India. In 1750, around 1750, India contributes 25% of the shares in the manufactured goods in the world. But coming to 1900, this is now become 2%. It means the goods which are manufactured all over the world, only 2% will be manufactured by India. So this huge difference is the result of the policies of British India. And now in 2020 also, this is such a complex problem that still we are at 2%. So this whole policy of Britishers are successful in curbing the Indian exports as well as promoting the raw material exports to the Britain. First absorb this, then we will proceed further. So now let us discuss some of the features of colonialism or colonial India at that period of time. So the story that I had told you, it is very much clear that Britishers are of huge help of integrating the Indian markets to the international market. So this is the first main thing. The integration of Indian and international markets. In the colonial period, all the Indian economic policies are driven by the British interest. Now India has become mainly a cash cow of British imported manufactured goods. There is, like, if I tell you a backstory, the previous rulers that have invaded India, they have settled in India and get accumulated in the customs and traditions of India only. If you talk about Mughals और उससे जितने पहले के भी थे, जो भी हमारे जैसे पहले हमने पालाज, देन पार्थियंस, जितने साकाज, जितने सब ने भी अटैक किया, they have a tendency to settle in India and adopt the native Indian traditions and cultures. But Britishers don't have this thinking of mind. At the end of the day, they want to go back to the British soils, as well as one of the main stark differences between the British rulers and the previous rulers. The previous rulers, जितने भी विलेनस हो, जितने भी एनिमी हो हमारे, उससे फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता, but the revenue that has been collected by the previous rulers will be spent on the soils of India only. But these Britishers, they have done the economic drain of India. The revenues, the Diwani rights that have been collected by these British administrators, they are not spending this money in India, but they are exporting this money to the military needs, to the army needs, to the war needs of the British Empire. So there is economic drain from India. There is no savings. As I have told you, every penny has been given to the needs of the wars of British Empire, that is to outside India. So there will be no savings, no capital formation like big industries and all, no public healthcare facilities. So in short, there is nothing investment on the soils of India by these Britishers. And whatever the small amount of capital the Britishers has formed, like उन्होंने रेलवे लाइन बिछाई, टेलीग्राफ बिछाया, so these capital projects are not for the need of Indians, but this is the want of Britishers. The Britishers at the time of war want to move their soldiers as well as goods and arms and ammunition at a very fast pace. So that's why the railways have been developed. The communication, the intelligence gathering on the Indian soils, the telegraph has been developed. If you know all the intricacies, if you want to know all the intricacies details, please watch a lecture please watch a lecture given by Mr. Shashi Tharoor. I think the venue was Harvard. So एक बार गूगल पे सर्च करना, बहुत ही तगड़ा भाषण था, पूरे हॉल में तालियां बज गई थी, हिला दिया था पूरे हॉल को by the facts that have been given by Dr. Tharoor. तो आप वहाँ से भी देख सकते हैं. In this class we are oriented to IAS lectures. So there is no saving, no capital formation, no public health facilities. So there is at the end of the day no investment in the Indian economy. The main central idea of Indian economy क्या था? वो agriculture. There is no investment in this agriculture, despite the highest revenue has been generated by the agriculture sector. But there is no new technology involved, new tech, no R&D, no superior agriculture practices is infused in this agriculture sector. At the other hand, the Britishers had destroyed the profession of artisans. The person previously who are in manufacturing sector of India, they have become unemployed, as I have told you in the previous story. Now these artisans crowded up in the agriculture sector, and that's why the present situation of Indian agriculture, the roots of this problem lies in that period of time. So सब देन है हमारे ब्रिटिशर्स की. Now these artisans crowded up in the field of agriculture, और यहाँ हमारे पास सबसे ज़्यादा हो जाता है disguised unemployment. That is another topic in the Indian economy. We will deal with disguised unemployment in the later sections. These things have been employed by the British policy administrators, and at the time when the Britishers left India and India gained independence, India was poverty stricken. Huge unemployment, illiteracy of almost 85%. This is stricken, as well as no savings. So entire Indian economy has been crumbled by these British policy administrators. So at the eve of the independence, our then first Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru, he thought that now we have to develop India. Now at that period of time, two school of thoughts were very prevalent. And the other one is, now there was a dilemma in front of Jawaharlal Nehru that we have to adopt our Indian economy on the lines of capitalism or socialism. Now Jawaharlal Nehru, being a moderate, doesn't want to follow the two extremes of the scale. So he chose the middle path, that is mixed economy. He don't want to attach the Indian economy to the ideas of capitalism as freedom and liberty, as well as he doesn't want to ascribe to the ideals of socialism, that is equality, because at that period of time there is a consensus that capitalism leads to huge development and very rapid development in the society. But on the other hand, the Britishers has ruled India for more than 200 years, and we all know that equality is more of a want of Indian public, that everyone on the Indian soils have to be equal. They have to be equal in political field, in economic fields. So another point of the feature of India when the Britishers leave this country was there's a stark difference of social inequality. The caste system was very prevalent, as well as economic inequalities were at huge scale. Top 1%, 2% has huge wealth among themselves, and bottom 90% they have very minuscule amount of rupees or money. So to avoid these challenges and to provide agitations, the newly born India has ascribed to mixed economy, that is the middle path between capitalism as well as socialism. So Indian Industrial Policy Resolution of 1948, this has come, and this has divided industries into four groupings. These were the groupings: state owned, the basic industries, the regulated enterprises, as well as the private institutions. So as we all know, state owned, it means these are exclusively defined for the center or state government. The private can't enter this function or this industry. The next is basic industries. The government has to invest hugely in these basic industries. The third one is regulated. In the regulated industries, although the private players are included in this, but there's a huge, tough, strict regulation in these industries. And the last one is open to private sector. And these options available to private sector are very minimum. So this was all about the IPR of 1948. Then after this, there is a first 5-year plan, 1951 to 56, and we all know the first objective or priority of government of India at that period of time is on the agriculture sector, the development, the investment in the agriculture sector. But after this, there is a two school of thoughts at that period of time. Nehru ji wants to choose one of the two schools. The one is Bombay School and other is Calcutta School. So now we will be discussing about these two schools and why there is a dilemma and what are the basic provisions of these two schools. तो पहले आप इतना absorb कीजिए, उसके बाद चलते हैं आगे. If you want to know some of the examples, in the state-owned there is arms and ammunition and the atomic power. So these such kind of industries were in state-owned. In basic industries, there were some cement, iron, coal. These industries have been included. In the regulated industries, it is more of a automobiles part. How these industries are regulated? The government is the authority to decide for how much price an automobile will be priced in the market, as well as the quantity of the automobiles manufactured. So quantity as well as pricing will be decided by the government of India in the regulated industry. And last is private. In this basic industry ना, अगर थोड़ी सी और डिटेल में जाऊँ तो in these basic industries, the prior private players which have been established in the field of these basic industries, they are allowed to participate in these economic activities. But then also there is a upper hand of the government of India at the end of the day. Now we are at the discussion of Bombay as well as Calcutta School. Now Jawaharlal Nehru wants to choose one of these two schools so that Indian economy will develop on the lines or ideas of that school. In the first school, the main proponent was Mahalanobis and this was ब्रह्मानंद. नाम इतने इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है, ये तो आपको समझ आ ही गया होगा और आपको ये भी समझ में आ गया विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग स्कूल्स हैव बीन अडॉप्टेड एट द एंड ऑफ द डे. सो इन द बॉम्बे स्कूल द मेन प्रोपोनेंट्स वाज businessman, capitalist, and on the other side there was academicians, technical bureaucrats and persons, economist. So such kind of educated clout was there in Calcutta School. On the other hand, in Bombay School there was businessman. Now what are the different ideas of these two contrasting schools? Mahalanobis was a great statistical economist. So he propounded the theory that we have to develop on the lines of capital intensive industries. Now as these capital intensive industries require huge amount of money to be established, so public sector will play, it means government will play a huge role in establishing this capital intensive industries. In this capital intensive industries we will manufacture huge machines. किसके लिए? In order to create other machines. भाई हमने बनाई, मान लीजिए बहुत बड़ी क्रेन बनाई, उस क्रेन से हम क्या कर रहे हैं? We are manufacturing the aircraft. So such huge capital intensive industries should be made so that these machines will be helpful in the creation of new machines. ये एक बस एग्जांपल था. So Mahalanobis is saying that capital intensive industries aided by public sector will be made, which will manufacture huge machines that will in turn create next set of machineries, and these machineries will be able to create the consumer goods. Mahalanobis is saying that yes, we have a low capital output, as these are employing huge capital, these industries are requiring huge capitals, तो ऑफ कॉस्टली उसकी जो कैपिटल कॉस्ट है वो हाई है, और इसकी जो आउटपुट कॉस्ट है, मतलब आउटपुट में क्या दे रही है, मशीन्स दे रही है, वो बनेगी 10-15 साल में। उसका जेस्टेशन पीरियड कब कितना होगा, 10-15 साल, जो उसको रनिंग के लिए टाइम चाहिए उसको बोलते हैं जेस्टेशन पीरियड। तो 20-30 साल में ये सारी चीज़ें बनेंगी, उसके बाद इकोनॉमी में एंटर करेंगी एंड देन दे विल स्टार्ट सम अर्निंग। सो कैपिटल आउटपुट कॉस्ट बहुत कम है, एज वेल एज लॉन्ग जेस्टेशन पीरियड। But these industries, Mahalanobis is saying, but these industries are required. Why? Because at the eve of independence, 90% of the capital, these machineries, we are used to import from external world. So we have to become self-reliant. That's why we have to invest in this capital intensive industries, and then in turn it will turn the economic wheel of Indian soils. The second group, Bombay group, यहाँ तो बिजनेसमैन है तो अपनी बातें करेंगे। So they are trying to say that please establish labor industries, and this is very important part। अगर हम आज की प्रॉब्लम को देखें, if we look closely to today's problem of disguised unemployment, the overcrowdedness of agriculture sector, the mismatch between agriculture sector, primary sector, secondary sector, as well as tertiary sector, all these problems have their root causes in this period. Now Bombay School is saying that we are available with cheap labor, इतने सारे हमारे पास इंसान हैं, उनके पास काम नहीं है, so this huge army of unemployed persons is available with us. Now we have to employ these unemployed persons in the labor intensive industries like shoemaking, textile industry, cloth making. So such industries require low cost labor in huge amount. In Calcutta School, these capital intensive industries don't require huge labor but require huge money. And on the other hand, these textile manufacturing and shoemaking industry, leather making industry requires huge labor that is available with us. So instead of investing in this capital intensive, we have to develop our labor industries, Bombay School is saying. तो कलकत्ता स्कूल क्या पूछता है, ठीक है भाई आपका आइडिया तो बहुत अच्छा है कि हमारे पास जो रॉ मटेरियल अवेलेबल है हम उसी का कुछ अपना कर रहे हैं, बट व्हाट अबाउट आवर 90% ऑफ द इम्पोर्टिंग ऑफ दिस कैपिटल मशीनरीज फ्रॉम आउटसाइड। सो ये क्या बोल रहे हैं, डेवलप दीज इंडस्ट्रीज एंड मेक देम कॉम्पिटिटिव इन द फॉरेन मार्केट्स। As we have make these entities, these industries competitive in the foreign market, so we will have foreign currency. Now with this foreign currency at a specific amount of time, 10 या 20 साल मान लो, we will have enough funds to establish this capital intensive industry. और तब तक क्या करें, तब तक you can import, मशीन क्यों लगा रहे हो, आपको जो प्रोडक्ट चाहिए वो इंपोर्ट कर लो, वी हैव दिस फॉरेन करेंसी। सो दिस वाज द मेन आइडियोलॉजी ऑफ द बॉम्बे स्कूल, एंड अनदर आइडियोलॉजी वाज गिवन बाय कलकत्ता स्कूल. So we all know in the second 5-year plan, the another name is PC Mahalanobis plan. So there is no debate that Calcutta School has been adopted. Then comes 1956. Industrial Policy Resolution of 1956. As we all know, in Audi session, in 1955, I think, Congress ka thai session. In this session, the Congress has adopted a resolution to develop the Indian economy on the lines of socialistic pattern. So first point in the IPR 1956 is now socialistic pattern will be used to guide the forward motion of Indian economy. The industries were divided in 3 schedules. C being private, this being government, and this be the new areas, the new industries established in the Schedule B will be started by Government of India, but private companies will complement these investment of Government of India. So that was in Schedule B, and Schedule C is of private. Moreover, a license Raj has also been instituted in IPR 1956. Now, what is this license Raj? These private firms want to expand in their business, so a license will be required from a bureaucrat or Government of India employee. If these private players want to diversify their business, again we have to opt for license Raj. We have to gain the access of license. So such kind of restrictions were put on the private players by the Government of India. Now, what are the result of this adoption of Calcutta plan? So, as we all know, the positives of Bombay plan कि आप कैसे करोगे, import करो foreign से, तो यही थे negatives इसमें. Long gestation period, low capital output, it leads to huge inflation. It is capital intensive and not labor intensive. Unemployment. So these were the several causes of the Calcutta plan. As well as the Nehru has opted for this IPR 1956, the socialistic pattern. Now, such kind and such decisions of our then Prime Minister has welcomed the socialist and capitalist principles at the same time. But instead of the good points, the evil points, the evil inferences of socialistic and capitalist ideology entered Indian economy at that period of time. What are these evil provisions? The controlling nature of the socialistic ideas, as well as the चापलूसी को क्या बोलते हैं, बहुत अच्छी टर्म थी यहाँ, मैं भूल रहा हूँ वो, और इसमें लॉबिंग, the lobbying from capitalist ideology and controlling nature of socialistic ideology. So the evil provisions of both the ideology crept in the Indian soils. बट नेहरू जी ने क्या सोचा था? नेहरू जी ने सोचा था कि दोनों की अच्छी चीज़ें आ जाएंगी, इक्वालिटी और सोशलिटी एंड द लिबर्टी एंड फ्रीडम ऑफ कैपिटलिज्म. अगर दोनों हम मिक्स कर दें तो एक बहुत ही अच्छी मिक्स इकोनॉमी आ सकेगी. बट इंस्टेड ऑफ दोज थिंग्स, व्हाट क्रेप्ट ऑन द इंडियन इकोनॉमी, दैट इज सोशलिस्टिक का कंट्रोलिंग नेचर एंड कैपिटलिस्ट का द लॉबिंग नेचर. लॉबिंग कैसे? इंस्पेक्टर और लाइसेंस राज. इन दिस लाइसेंस राज you have to lobby the political clout, the administrative clout of government of India. हाँ भाई टीवी दे देंगे, हमको लाइसेंस दे दो. एक बड़े जो कैपिटलिस्ट थे जाते थे प्राइवेट प्लेयर्स के, ब्यूरोक्रेट के पास, ब्यूरोक्रेट को घर में एक टीवी पहुंचा दिया, ठीक है, फल फ्रूट पहुंचा दिए. सो दिस इज काइंड ऑफ लॉबिंग. सो बाय डूइंग ऑल दिस थिंग्स चापलूसी, द लाइसेंस विल बी जनरेटेड ऑफ दिस प्राइवेट एंटिटीज़ एंड देन वो अपना बिजनेस है डाइवर्सिफाई करते थे, एक्सपेंड करते थे. सो दिस इज होल सिनेरियो ऑफ इंडियन इकोनॉमी till the death of Nehru. In the next class we will be proceeding our discussion further. और ये सब मेंस का टॉपिक है, ठीक है ना. अनलाइक पॉलिटी इन द इकोनॉमिक लेक्चर्स वी आर कंट्रीब्यूटिंग टू बोथ द मेंस एज वेल एज द प्रीलिम पॉइंट्स. सो अभी तक आपको इतना अगर समझ में आ गया है और आपको अच्छी लग रही है क्लासेस, सो प्लीज़ लाइक दिस वीडियो, शेयर इट विद योर फ्रेंड्स एंड सब्सक्राइब टू अवर यूट्यूब चैनल. तब तक के लिए गुड बाय, जय हिंद.